We're going to continue talking about Rabbi Nachman's advice as it comes to the power of thought, the power of the mind. Everything is in the mind, and Rabbi Nachman has incredible advice. So let's talk about chometz. Rabbi Nachman discusses this in a psychological, spiritual way, a psycho-spiritual way. And think of your wife. She goes and she bakes a delicious challah for Shabbos. You take water and flour and yeast, you mix it up, and she leaves it to rise. And if you leave it a little too long, the thing just overflows everywhere. It falls over the counter. It just keeps growing and growing and growing. And Rabbi Nachman explains that that is the way that thought works. When we have undesired thoughts and we focus on these and we let them pester in our mind, they just keep growing and growing and getting larger and larger and larger and larger. So Rabbi Nachman says the same way all of us are so careful on Pesach to run away from chometz. We make a bedikas chometz before Pesach. We look for even a little tiny bit of chometz. And chas v'shalom, if we find it on Pesach, we burn it right away. Flush it down the toilet if it's on Yontiv. All the different halachas about this. Rabbi Nachman says we need to be just as careful about these kind of thoughts that we have in our minds, because if not, just like that challah keeps on growing bigger and bigger and bigger, so the negativity of our bad thoughts will grow and pester and get larger and larger and larger until it fills up our entire mind. Reb Shimshon Barsky points out there are 3 areas where this really affects us. So if we're weak in any of these 3 areas, we can really point to this. The first one is in our davening. When we go and we daven and we'll try to connect to Hashem. If we don't feel a connection to Hashem in our davening, it's because there's thoughts in our minds, undesired thoughts, whether they're illicit things, things of averes chas v'sholem, or whether just negative, judgmental types of things. Those thoughts will not allow us to connect properly by tefillah. Number 2 is if we walk around in a depressed and negative kind of mood, that is also a sign that we've allowed the chometz of these negative thoughts to develop in our mind. And lastly, if we're filled with anxiety, sadness, that as well is a sign that we can't see how Hashem is with us. We can't see all of the chesed that Hashem in every single situation. As Rabbi Nachman said, we spoke about this b'tzar chavtali. Even in my difficult days, there's harachova. There is some kind of salvation. We're not able to focus on them. We're not able to focus on the good within ourselves. We're not able to connect to Hashem because our mind has too much chometz in it. The eitzah is that when we feel negative thoughts, we have to run as quickly as possible. We have to run away from it by thinking something else. The quicker we think something else, whether it's learning, whether it's doing a mitzvah, whether it's even business, the quicker we do that and we don't let our mind think and focus on these types of undesired thoughts, the less chometz we will have in our mind, and the more we'll be free to connect to Hashem, to see the good within ourselves, and to see the good in every single part of our lives. Have a wonderful day.